So for this intensive, we're going to work on handstand shaping. We're going to start with a pike sit, and we're going to tell the girls to put their arms by their ears and look just a tiny bit. They should be able to see with the top of their eyes their fingertips. And they're going to hold it for around 30 seconds. Their butt should be in line with their shoulders. After they do that, they're going to do a rear plank for 30 seconds. So they're going to put their toes up on their mat, their hands behind them. And on this, what they have to work on is keeping their hips up all the way, nice and high. And the higher the mat is, the harder that's going to be. The next thing they're going to do is a candlestick. So now they'll keep their toes up there, but they'll lay down. They'll lift their hips, and they're going to move their hands from their hips all the way down to their ears. After they finish the candlestick for 30 seconds, they're going to move into a regular front plank with their hands on the floor, their toes on the mat, and they're going to walk their hands out so that their arms are covering their ears. You're going to make sure that their belly is engaged and they're keeping their rib cage in. Then they're going to go from there, walk in their hands all the way to the mat, and they're going to go into a half handstand. You have to make sure that they walk their hands close enough to the mat so that their hips are stacked with their hands, and you actually have to walk your feet a little closer to your hands, or your hands in a little closer to the mat. Malka, there you go. And from there, they're going to do some shoulder shrugs for 30 seconds, just really thinking about how much they can push their arms high. And then after they do their shoulder shrugs, they're going to do tuck and pike jumps holding their shape. So I still the same idea about keeping their rib cage in and keeping their belly engaged, keeping the shape, and just only jumping as high as they can. And that's what they're going to do here by these mats. Once that is done, they can come out back to this regular floor and work on their usual handstand shaping drills of laying down and pushing their back into the floor for 30 seconds, then turning around and lifting their rib cage off the floor, go around, make sure their rib cage is lifted. Then they can go to the wall, put their hands on the wall, and do a nice shoulder mobility stretch just to switch things up a little bit. And they're going to try to get their nose to the floor and really stretch out their shoulders. And then they'll finish with their spider walk-up handstands. These are a little bit difficult. You can move some of the mats by the main wall too, so everyone has space. They're going to have to get their hands to, I'm pausing. So the idea here is that they really have to line up their body so that their hips are stacked up with their arms. And Malka, you want to push in your belly a little bit more if you can. And they're going to hold that there. And once they do that, then they're going to do 10 leg lifts on each side, trying to get their legs a perfect vertical, not more, not less. Very nice. And that's going to be their handstand warm-up.
Okay, so at this station, this is going to be the spotted station for either back hip circle, middle circle, or front hip circle. But before they move on, they need to do the skill unassisted to ensure that they can do it by themselves. At this next station, they're going to start sitting on the ball, and they're going to jump up and down and jump up to front support. And try to keep your arms as straight as possible. And for less advanced girls, they can cast and try to land their toes on top. At this station, they're going to work on they're going to keep their back arched and their arms straight. They're going to push up tall on the bar, and then they're going to fall down, holding that arched position and keeping their arms straight. Over here at this station, they're going to start in an arch with their arms straight. They're going to push up until their legs touch the bar. And they're going to fold forward, and they're going to come back up, keeping their legs up by the bar as best as they can. They need to hold that arch and push back to get their arms straight. At this station, they're going to jump to front support and push up really tall. They're going to look ahead of them and keep leaning forward, keeping their arms straight. Good, and they're going to do a forward roll, keeping their arms straight the entire time. Okay, so at this station, they're going to be on the line, and they're going to practice the first part of the routine. So they're going to step, kick, pose, and then step, kick, handstand, rond de jambe, and side pose. Good. At this next station, they're going to come to where the feet are or wherever the marker is, and there's going to be a folder with poses, and they're just going to look at them, choose their poses, work on them, make them look beautiful. Over here, they're going to be working with the coach, and they're going to work on their routine. So they're going to start with a straddle mount. And then they're going to step, kick, pose, step, kick, handstand, or lever, teeter-totter.
And then they can stay here and keep working on their handstand with the coach.
At this station, they're going to work on the same thing. They're going to start with step, kick, pose, step, kick, handstand. Good. At this next station, they're going to come to the baby beam and they're going to work on their double straight jumps. And at this station, they're going to work on their double straight jumps with the tight arm swing. So start standing up tall and swing down, jump, swing down, jump.